Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA, or Hot Tub Economist. Anyways, so look, if you just got to my blog, I'm a multimillionaire. I've been buying and selling real estate as an investor since I was 19 years old, made a lot of money doing it, and had a lot of fun. It's been 41 years, started in a recession, and we are definitely going into another one right now. So I want to just talk about some of the signals I talked about last month. You know, what generally happens is confidence goes away, and things start to dry up. A lot of cancellation of real estate contracts. Last month, I slipped in and bought a house myself that had been sold twice before, which of course was great for me because it took down the confidence of the seller, and they went further down on their sales price, and I paid cash for it. Hey, good morning, Clay. Glad to have you in the class and here. So I want to talk a little bit about, generally what I've seen, and believe me, I've seen the country devastated back in, the late 80s especially. Parts of Texas were terrible too. I didn't live in Texas then, but I did profit from some of that. It doesn't feel like a recession to anybody until they start losing their job. Well, that's starting to happen. But usually what precedes the job loss is sales. And you can kind of see that reflected in the stock market. Walmart is struggling right now, and people can. Walmart is struggling to a degree. Now people say, "Oh no, the numbers are saying." Well, no, it's not true. You got to remember, sales are technically down because everything costs more, right? In other words, if you got a business and you've had to raise your price 20% because your cost of goods went up, some pro rata amount. Well, if you sell the same amount, sales aren't just as good as they always were. Your numbers are just as good as they always are, but your sales are technically down. You're moving less inventory. And, Apple is no longer, or they've laid off, I guess, about 100 or 200 recruiters. I actually know one of the recruiters for Apple. I don't know if they've been affected or not, but they're always looking for talent. Well, it slowed. They got rid of 100 people. When I say that, I don't mean directly they work for them, but they work for them as their subcontractors on the phone all day looking for talent. They try to steal them away from other people. So now we're all these guys that were kind of getting jobs. They were lured away. Hey, I'll give you 50,000 more to come over here. And then they jump ship, and then they do it again and again and again. I think that shit's over with. Also Home Depot, by the way. And it's funny because I'm getting, hey, good morning, Chris. Home Depot. So Home Depot, they've seen a lull in sales. And what does that relate to? It relates to remodeling. It relates to building in general. So you're seeing the building come back. There's also, I put a note here. Where's my note here? Oh, yeah. Well, sales contracts, too. Sales contracts, last month, and I already repeated this because I was just telling somebody, but the sales contracts are 16% of everything that went into contract real estate wise in the USA fell out, which is, like I said, is why I got the deal that I got. It's that confidence being taken away is what kills it. There's also, you'll see a report on housing starts are back to 2021 levels. Think about that for a second. The housing starts were pretty horrible in 2020, 2021 because everybody was terrified of the pandemic. They still didn't have the confidence in what the economy was doing. So they were already bad then, and so it's even much worse now. But that's what's happening. There's still hope to make money in real estate. I've been, I started in a recession, but in all honesty, I actually listened to somebody say this today, and I thought it was well put. And it was just one of these hedge fund guys, and what he was saying is, we don't know whether to be bullish or bearish. In other words, they don't know because there's so many moving parts. I would tell you right now, just be bearish. One of the things that's hurting Walmart, by the way, is their sales are not horrible, but they've seen the shift to essentials, right? Toilet paper, food. In other words, they're not seeing so many of the gizmos and the appliances and the things that people can do without. People aren't buying those. They got to eat. And it's so just paying attention to the market. By the way, is really a good indication of how you should conduct yourself too. Don't buy anything you don't need. Don't buy anything you don't need. Just wait. Don't be optimistic that things are going to be good. Don't be terribly pessimistic that things are going to be bad. But there's a saying that just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean they're not after me. And it's as that applies to this, same thing. It doesn't hurt. Like I always say, it doesn't hurt to take a profit. Well, it doesn't hurt to be conservative and be careful. If anything, it'll serve you. And I've been looking at cars, and man, I can see that. I've been looking at some classic stuff. Looking to get an old Land Cruiser, like I'm not going to tell you what year. It's not anybody else shopping, but I'm looking for an old Land Cruiser, and I found a couple of good deals. I can see it softening. I see the values. I see. Let me put it this way: the car dealers have more time to call me back over and over again. Hey, make an offer. Hey, you want that? Hey, we can do this. Hey, we can do that. It's coming out loud and clear. Sales are drying up, and it's the consumptive stuff that consumer spending on just like I say on frill stuff. That's the one that's one that goes first. The second home goes. The second car goes. The convertible you don't need goes. You keep the pickup if you need the pickup, and all that is happening. And the smartest people do it first, to be quite honest. And that's why I see a lot of these young YouTubers, and they talk out their ass. They don't know. They've never seen hard times. Their life is from, after 18, started a social media, and it blew up for them. They don't know any different. And it happens also sometimes with real estate. People jump into real estate at a time when there's really, high inflation. High appreciation. Inflation's on my mind, obviously. And they get lucky on a few deals, and all of a sudden they think that they know it all. And believe me, these guys that are creating funds, especially the young guys, don't know shit about what they're doing. I think they're leading people off a cliff, and I'm going to talk about that. And Grant Cardone, oh my God, that guy should be ashamed of himself. The advice he's given people. I mean, imagine if you took his advice and sold your home just before everything, went up 50% again, the following year. And now you're sitting here, you sold your home, you took your equity out that you had, you'd have twice as much or significantly more if you didn't listen to him. And now even worse, if you gave it to him and he plowed it into one of these apartment buildings, and now you're sitting there, his hands are going to even be tied from even liquidating, I think. That's what I believe. And your money's sitting out there. You've already lost a significant amount of profit you would have had if you kept your home. And now guess what? Even if you can afford to buy a home, your interest rate is almost double what it was when you sold your home. So that kind of advice is so irresponsible and stupid. It's very rare that I make any real predictions because I understand the factors involved. You really can't necessarily make really accurate predictions. The government will intervene. The government will ruin a good economy like they did with stimulus. This time, that's the government. It's on the government on this one. They ruined it with the stimulus. Giving too much money to too many people caused the inflation. And it's just a freaking mess. And now they're going to give everything to China. But again, you can still make money in real estate. Just be safe, guys. Hang on to your money. Don't buy that car. Don't buy that. Don't buy that new car. Don't buy, that boat. Don't buy that shit you don't necessarily need. My mom said something to me a long time ago, and it was just an observation she made, where she was talking about how when there's a new model of something, how it suddenly kind of makes the previous model, it makes the previous model obsolete, right? There's a couple more bells and whistles that you didn't have. It happens with computers, right? Computer changes, all of a sudden there's a faster computer than what you had. That used to be a big deal in the 80s and 90s when I was buying computers. And believe me, I'd pay $10,000 for a computer that you wouldn't even want to touch today. It's so slow. But it's kind of a shame for something to become obsolete just because something came out, a month later that's a little better. You don't need everything. It doesn't always have to be the best. And now, so Gus Fring wrote, "This is the third recession I've been through. I'm 32 and I advise my friends and family members to have at least a minimum of 3 to 9 months of safety net. Well, that's good advice. Gus, I don't think you've really been through 3 recessions, though. I feel like I've only been through 2, and the first one was in 1980, and this is the second one. 2009, I don't consider a recession. Maybe you do, but you know what? Here's the deal. When you lose your job, it's a recession for you. So, not arguing with you on that, Gus, but and also where you are, where you live can make a difference. The government throws an inordinate amount of money to certain areas. It seems like it usually follows capital cities to a degree. Yeah, Shane, I'm not even going to touch that at the moment, but yeah, of course. Start stocking up and ride this storm out. If you have the capital, yep, I agree with that. Hang on to your money and spend it wisely. Hey, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be in the studio here again soon, and we'll start looking at some real numbers and some real things that are happening, that you can kind of see on the screen behind me. And but I'll tell you right now, man, just be frugal. Like the video I did a while ago. Pretend you lost your job. Think about what you would do right now if all of a sudden you no longer had the income coming in you do, and it had to drop down to whatever unemployment is, because that could be a reality for some of you. And self-employed, same thing. There's, like I said, there's things you want to have, and yeah, you got the cash and you can pay for them. I understand that. I have a lot of options, but it's just the common sense in me. I started with 0. I never want to go back to that. I don't even think it's possible, but I mean, anything's possible, I guess. But I'm not that stupid. So anyhow, hey, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's a good time to get some skills. And you guys know I made a super offer as of yesterday. If you didn't get on that email, watch yesterday's video. I'm not even going to tell everybody because actually quite a few people are taking advantage of it. It's going to be fun to see how it falls out. Got a money-back guarantee. Money-back guarantee. Check it out on the mentorship, but it's going to end Saturday. But we'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.